Read. Thank you very much once again. Let me welcome you back to this channel. And then this is MATRIC+NATED specialist. I hope you are very well. And then here I'm going to present to you what we call an ATP. This is an annual teaching plan, a guideline that the teacher, the student, they are expected to follow it in regards to term 1's work. And then today we are going to look at business studies. This is grade 10 business studies. All right. And then without wasting any time, if we are moving on, we can see that on our far left-hand side, we are having what we call the term, which is term 1 on this side. And then we can see that moving on, we are having what we call a week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6. So moving on to week 7, that will be the last week, and then lastly, which is week 8. So remember, guys, that in these weeks that are stipulated here, there are topics that are going to be done in the class. And this topic number 1, you can see that we are going to talk about the microenvironment. Microenvironment, that is topic number 1 in week 1. So what is it that is expected of us when we are presenting this topic? So the core concepts that are expected from us in week 1 is that we must understand, that is an obligation, we must understand the meaning of the term macro environment. Please bear in mind that don't mix them. It's micro and macro environment. So moving on, we can see that we are having here various components as point 2 of the macro internal business environment, which I believe very well that we have discussed it on our videos. Then we are saying go and watch those videos and revise. And then moving on to number 2, we had the vision, mission, statement, goals, and objectives of the business. Remember that in each and every business, there should be the vision statement, there should be a mission, there should be the goals, or which are called the objectives of the business. So you must understand that each and every business has got its goals. Point number 3, we need to understand now the organizational resources. So these are the resources that are going to be used, where they are going to be used in the organization to perform a task. Then we are having what we call management, leadership, and the leadership. So there is a difference between management and leadership. And then I've explained it where on our first module. Refer back to our playlist and understand that concept. And the last one, it is the 8 functions and activities of the business. We must understand that the business has got its 8 important functions, and those particular functions, they must be taken into account for the business to grow. Moving on, we've got the requisite, which is the pre-knowledge. The pre-knowledge, the word pre, it means before. So before you can come to grade 10, you have a knowledge in your previous grades, which is grade 9, grade 8, whereby you are doing economics and management science. So we are saying that you should know in GTE, EMS knowledge and the meaning of the 8 businesses and their particular function. All right. And then which resources now again that we are going to use? The resources that we are going to use other than the textbook. Remember that the teacher cannot only use the textbook, but there are resources which they must be used to ensure that this is explained at a better stage. And we are saying that Those resources are grade 10 business studies notes, which I have entailed created for you, and I've posted the Department Basic Education exemplar question paper, which is question paper 1 and question paper 2, which are the part and parcel of the past papers. They are very important in preparing us for the examination. And then we must take note of the specific guidelines. So the guideline, the marking guideline is a very important tool. It guides us on how to write our answers. And then you can also check a MATRIC+NATED specialist video, so they can help you. Moving on again to week 2, what is expected? They've made a mistake here. Is microenvironment, and the other one is macro. So can you please put A there? It is a macro environment. It's not a micro, it's a macro environment. So we are saying under the macro environment, when we put an A there, we are saying that these are the various components of the macro internal business environment. Remember that we said in a business environment, we've got both internally, which can be staff, and externally, which are the consumers or the customers of the business. We have to understand again the organizational culture of the business and how things are done in the business. Remember that different businesses, they've got different organizational structure that is taking place. And then let us talk about number 3, the business organizational structure. And then we talk about the purpose of the organizational structure. Why is it there? Why this particular structure is there? Moving on again, we should understand that we must talk about the purpose or the importance of a business. Why this particular business is important, and which structural adaptations do they take place in regards to that business. All right. And then moving on, you can see that lastly, we can talk about now the purpose of the importance and the organizational structure with a specific reference to an organogram. I have said to you that an organogram, it is a hierarchical structure. It indicates us to very well who is on top and who is the junior in the examination. All right. Moving on, let us move to week 3 and week 4 of these examinations that we are writing, that we are going to write. And then in week 3, we must understand that we must talk about the business function. So these are the functions of the business. And then we need to ensure that we recap the 8 business functions. Number 2, we need to understand the difference between the leadership and management. We have said there is a distinguish. There is a difference between the leadership and the management. Refer back to our content, and moving on, we've got the activities and the importance of them following businesses. And then we have just a general management. Those are what we need to understand. And then moving on, we can see that what is it that is required on you? You must get the GET knowledge of the following. You need to know. Remember, when we are talking about the GET, we talk of the previous grades that we have made. We talk of the previous grade, which was grade 9 that we are making. You need to understand EMS, and we are saying that there are characteristics of the businesses which have been outlined, and then we need to understand the roles and importance of the business functions. Those are what we need to understand for us to pass. Let us move on again to week 4. We talk of the business functions. So under the business function, week 4, we are in week 4, and then we are saying the activities and the importance or the purposes of the businesses which they are falling under. We need to understand what is administration. Number 2, what is financing? Number 3, what is public relation? And number 4, what is it? And all those elements and all those concepts, they have been posted. Refer back to our playlist. Moving on, we must understand that we talk about the purchasing function, which include the NCA, the CPA, the nature, the purpose of the business, the rights, the responsibilities, and the remedies. Remember that they go hand in hand with the business organizations. All right, in week 5, we should understand that we talk about now the concept of quality. So under the concept of quality, we must talk about the meaning first of quality. We talk about the quality control and quality assurance. Those are 2 factors that we need to understand. And then moving on, we need to talk about the difference between the quality and control and quality assurance. We need to differentiate after we have understood the concept and the meaning. A second point, we need to differentiate between the two. In the examination, you'll be asked a question to say differentiate between the quality control and the quality assurance. Moving on, we must understand the importance of quality for the business. We need to understand those concepts. So to move on, what is required on us in this, we must understand that we need to understand the term on the meaning of the term quality. We need to understand it in a broader sphere so that we cannot struggle when we are even doing this. All right. And then moving on in week 6, we must understand that we've got the concept of quality. And then under this, we've got to understand the quality indicators of the following business function. Number 1, human resource function. Number 2, administration function. Number 3, financial function. Number 4, general management. And then number 5, you need to understand the correlation. What does the word correlation mean? It means the relationship, how they correlate between the what? Between the management and the success of a business in achieving its objectives. You also need to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of the business. And then moving on, again, we need to understand that we are having what we call week 7, the market environment. So under this market environment, we need to understand these particular factors in a manner that is very correct. All right, and then moving on, we've got to go again to the market environment in week 7. So in a market environment, we need to understand the meaning of the term market environment. And then number 2, we've got to understand the component a market environment. Number 3, we need to understand the reasons why competition poses challenges to the business. And then moving on, we need to understand that we talk about the examples of each other organization or the civil society. Lastly, we must talk about the meaning of opportunities and threats in the business context and give some practical examples. Remember that there is no business that can run smoothly, but it needs ups and downs, it needs threats, it needs opportunities, and it needs also strength. Moving on again in week 8, which is the last week, you need to understand the meaning of macro environment. Number 2, give practical examples of each. Number 3, list the components and features of the macro environment. And then you need to understand the reasons why each component or feature poses challenges to the environment or to the entity. All right. And then you will be knowing that if you have finished these 1, term 1. You need to write now a test. You need to write your work. You need to ensure that you understand everything that is covered in these particular weeks. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you are well. Hit the subscription button and don't forget to comment and like. Thank you.